Hey ladies, Katie Holly Lambert here with Team Evo AZ at eXp Realty. We are based out of Phoenix, Arizona, but branching out across the country. So you may see a Team Evo in your state. Don't be surprised. Anyway, today, as part of the self-care week, I'd love to go over with you just a couple of quick and easy maintenance tips that we as moms and dads can do to sort of help reduce those surprises, those really not so fun surprises that happen, when you're getting the kids off to school and all of a sudden you have something going on in your house that you did not expect that you have to take care of. So let's try to prevent that. And I have a couple of tips for you here. Some of these tips may be more better suited for, depending on your climate, like for warmer climates, and some may be better suited for colder climates. So just kind of gauge what climate you are in and if these tips pertain to you or not. The first tip is super important, I think, and especially here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And that's to have a pest control company that regularly treats your home for pests. Here, specifically in Phoenix, in my house, we have scorpions. Not a lot because we have pest control and we have other ways of dealing with them. But we've had termites, we've had rats in our backyard. So there are just things that can get out of control if you don't control them. And I would highly suggest having a professional pest control company handle that for you. Specifically for us, we did run into a bit of a scorpion problem when we bought our house. But like I said, we've been, using regular pest control, and we have some tips and tricks on how to reduce that, and it's worked tremendously. So definitely get yourself a good, trusted pest control person. For especially those of you that have central air in your home, maybe you're in Florida or Arizona, California, it's suggested that you change your AC filters often. Make sure that your AC unit is serviced every spring and get your heater serviced every fall, just to make sure that it's clean, it's working appropriately, it's effective, it's efficient, because if it's not working efficiently, obviously that not only impacts you on a comfort level, but that's going to impact your wallet too. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that and, just read up on what the manufacturer's suggestions are and what their guidelines are for using whatever unit that you have. They'll have suggestions on how to care for it. Watch for signs of draining from the overflow drain pipe, which would be in AC units. That could mean that there's a clog and you could develop a leak inside your house, which is not fun at all. The next thing that is pretty important is to keep an eye on the grading around the perimeter of your home. And that's basically, how does the ground slope? Does it slope toward your home, which is really not good? That means water, debris, and all that's going to sit against the house. Or does it slope away from the home, which is what it should do, especially here in Arizona. There's a certain degree that it actually is recommended that it slopes, and any good professional landscaper can help you with that. And that just ensures that the water runs away from the house versus pooling on the foundation. Water pooling is not a good thing. It's important we have all these beautiful trees and, especially out east, and here in Arizona, we have palm trees and all of these gorgeous, wonderful things in our backyard that provide shade and provide beauty. But it can get a little bit unruly if you don't take care of it. It's really important to cut back the trees so that they don't overhang on your home, like hang over the roof. Not good. The debris from the trees can cause water pooling on the roof, which is not what you want to do, because anytime water pools, there could be damage caused there, could start leaking, stuff like that. Make sure that if you have gutters, I know that back east, it's really popular. Every single house has gutters. Here in Arizona, not as popular. Only some of our homes have gutters, but make sure that you keep the roof clean, and especially our flat roofs here in Arizona, super important. And keep the gutters clean as well. So that way, when it rains, water's flowing the way it needs to flow. It's not pooling and, laying stagnant in any area, because that's not good. If there's a bathroom or a plumbing fixture, like, maybe you have a bar in your house and there's a little sink in the bar and that doesn't get used very often, It's important to run that water every couple of weeks just to keep water in the trap and to keep sewer gases and insects from coming into the house. That will happen as those traps, those P traps, dry up. You just want to make sure that there's always water flowing through there, like every week or couple of weeks or so, just to make sure that that doesn't evaporate and start letting in some other things that, trust me, you don't want. The next suggestion is to check the insulation levels in your attic and add as needed or distribute evenly as needed. Sometimes if we have disturbances in our attics, especially if you have blown in cellulose type of insulation up there, if we've got a cable guy that comes or your AC guy comes, sometimes that gets a little bit disturbed and it can be uneven, which would cause some discomfort in the home. So it's not, working as it should, and it will impact your energy efficiency. So definitely keep an eye on that. Have your roof checked every couple of years, 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years is good. If there appears to be an issue, like you see it curling up or a leak develops or something just doesn't seem right, then definitely send somebody, a professional, up there sooner. But I'd say about every 3 years, as long as you get a clean bill of health, is probably good, barring any crazy weather. So if you have a super crazy storm and other people's, roof shingles are flying off their house, maybe check yours too and make sure yours are good. Sweep out any active chimneys to minimize debris that could potentially cause a fire. I would say do that on a yearly basis for sure. If you use it very regularly, maybe you do that a little bit more frequently. Just want to make sure that that chimney is very clean, because obviously you're putting fire in there. So you don't want something to spark and cause you an issue. Oh, clothes dryers. This is a fun one, especially for parents who do a lot of laundry. Make sure that you clean the lint trap on your clothes dryer between every use. So you pull out the thing, looks like a screen, clean it off, throw it in the trash, put it back in. That's before every use. But also you want to make sure that your dryer vent hose is cleaned regularly as well. You can do that yourself, pop it off, vacuum it, or you can have a professional service come in. Usually I'll get my air ducts clean and my dryer vents clean all at the same time. Something that's really important, especially for parents, is the anti-tip device on the kitchen stove. It could be super dangerous for a kid if you don't have that. And what that is it's just something that your stove slides into in the back, sort of toward the floor, or on the floor is usually where it's installed. Your stove slides into it. And that way, if the oven is open and a small child happens to get on the door or pushes on the door or something, the stove doesn't tip over. There are some really terrible stories out there with that, about that happening. So it's a super easy, inexpensive fix if you don't have it. A lot of stoves do. A lot of them are installed with that now, but super easy fix. Make sure that you have that. If you don't get it installed, it could really, really help you avoid a tragedy for sure. Anti-siphon devices is another suggestion. So these are little mechanisms that are on the outside of your house, typically on your hose bib. And what that does is it goes between your hose and the actual hose bib itself, where the water comes out. And that prevents, say you're watering your garden or something, that prevents the water from going back up, getting sucked up back up into the house and potentially into the drinking system. So you just want to make sure that if the water exits the house, then you don't want that getting sucked back in. So those little mechanisms, super, super inexpensive, something that you can install on your own. They're just a couple of bucks at Home Depot. Just a couple more, guys. Check your windows periodically. If there's like fog or sweat in between the panes, this may indicate that there's a broken seal and your energy efficiency of the window may be compromised. So that's something to get a professional to check on. It can be repaired in most cases, I believe. I've had them repaired before, or it may need to just be replaced depending on the severity of the situation. Make sure, those of you who have garage doors, that you get your garage door opener checked often. The garage doors can be very dangerous if they're not adjusted properly. And if that reverse mechanism doesn't work, then that can be dangerous too. So you want to make sure, especially that, if a small child runs out the door while it's coming down, that door is going to stop and go back up. It's not going to squish the child. Super important. Lastly, and of course, there are many things that there's many other things that we should do to properly maintain our home and make sure that we don't have those surprises. But I would say that this video covers a lot of the main things. And the last thing that I have for you today is the access door. So speaking of garage doors again, the access door between your house and the garage, make sure that that's a fire-rated self-closing door. It's really important. Studies show that a lot of fires start in the garage. So you want to make sure that there's a fire barrier there so that you and your family can get out safely. And also that the door automatically closes. Picture a bunch of groceries in your hands, maybe you have a kiddo, whatever it is. And we're not always super aware of, hey, did we reach back and shut the door tight behind us? So do yourself a favor and let the door shut itself. Super important. All right, guys. Well, I hope that this was beneficial, and I hope that you have a wonderful week of learning about all of the areas of self-care.